this video is all about the stress and the stress response, how important it is for short-term health, but how destructive it is, and how it can lead to every major health problem inside your body. So let's start here. Let's say I'm walking in the forest and all of a sudden I hear something and I look and I see a big grizzly bear. Okay? Now I'm stressed. First thing that happens is my eyes see the bear, sends a signal to a very important part of my brain called the amygdala, which is the emotional center of the brain, which sends a message to the hypothalamus and then to the pituitary, which then releases a message that goes all the way down and out the nerve to a very, very important organ of the body called your adrenal glands. And the adrenal glands release something called adrenaline. Adrenaline then goes throughout the body and starts to release cortisol. And this starts what's called the sympathetic nervous system response, which means fight or flight, meaning I'm either going to fight that bear or I'm going to run away as fast as I can. So what my body does intelligently is it redistributes all of the energy to where it needs to go. So when we go through this, it makes so much sense, right? The first thing that people know when they have adrenaline in their system is their heart starts to beat really, really quickly. So the heart rate increases. Number 4 is the blood pressure increases, okay? Number 5, we're going to need more energy in our system. So what the body does is the cortisol actually acts to start breaking up fat cells and glycogen in the liver to get sugar into the bloodstream. Okay? We need sugar in order to create lots of energy so we can either run away or we can fight. Very, very important response. Okay? Number 6 is your liver starts to dump out LDLs to get cholesterol to different parts of the body. Okay, what else happens here? Do you need to digest food when you're running away? Absolutely not. So your stomach and your intestines actually die down. So decrease in digestion. Okay. Number 8. Do you need to fight infections and things like that? No. So your immune system actually breaks down. Decrease in immune system. Also, think about this. With your brain, your body doesn't need a memory anymore when it's trying to run away. It's trying to be in the now moment. So what happens is the memory centers of your brain start to shut down, and the frontal lobe starts to shut down. And you live in a state of anxiety, which is very, very important when you're trying to get away from this. So we can get into a lot more stuff, like you get tunnel vision, your hearing starts to go. All of this stuff happens when you're in this response. But here's the point I want to make. This is a great thing. This is there, it's innately in our bodies because we need to fight or we need to get away. If we didn't do this, we would be dead. So this is a very, very important response. Here's the problem. In today's society, we live this every second of every day. So let's think about this long term. What happens when you have adrenaline pumping through your system throughout the day? You get into something called adrenal fatigue. How many people do you know that are walking around that are just kind of slunched over all the time? They have no energy. It's because their adrenals are depleted, right? You have cortisol pumping through your system over and over and over again. Cortisol is an anti-inflammatory, but it also reduces the immune system. It does all of this stuff over and over again. But the biggest sign that cortisol is throughout the body is this. Cortisol first breaks down fat, but if you don't use that energy, meaning you're actually not running away, so if you're just stressed at work and you're not using that energy and you don't exercise, that extra sugar gets stored at cortisol sites, which are at the gut and the thighs. So you get a lot of people who look kind of like pears, or they have their big belly and their big thighs. And that's because they have so much cortisol and they're not burning off that extra energy that's being released, okay? We call that visceral fat, which is a very dangerous kind of fat. It's a big predictor of heart disease. Okay? Heart rate, blood pressure go up. Again, you're in that sympathetic response. If you watch my video on heart disease, you'll know what does that lead to. Heart attack, which is a leading cause of death in the United States today. Kills over 700,000 people a year. Okay? High sugar in the blood, you do that over time, what happens to insulin? Insulin receptors go down. We call that diabetes. Okay? Again, with the cholesterol, you can make an argument that it can affect the heart disease. Decreased digestion, your digestion slows down, you end up getting constipation. You're actually going to keep toxins inside of your body. This is where you become very, very toxic. Food doesn't move around your digestive tract. You start to, instead of getting the toxins out of you, you absorb them, which actually, if you absorb toxic cells, your body will create more fat to help you out. Okay, so it can lead to weight gain. The other thing that with decreased digestion that's going to do is it's going to leave room for things like IBS, Crohn's disease, diverticulitis, and that's because you have toxic waste sitting in your belly. It's going to create tons of inflammation and little pockets. Really, really dangerous. This is a really dangerous one. It can also lead to migraine headaches if you're not passing that stool through you. Decreased immune system, obviously more susceptible to viruses and things like that, but more importantly, what's the second leading cause of death? Cancer. How are you going to fight cancer if you have no immune system? We all have cancer cells in our body, but if we have a strong, healthy immune system, it detects those cancer cells and gets rid of them. So really, somebody with cancer has a very weakened immune system. Okay? Decreased memory. Sorry about my handwriting. That says dementia. It'll lead to dementia, and then increased anxiety over time. Anxiety and depression long term. When you're not supposed to have it. So here's the thing. Short term, this stuff is very, very good. Long term, very, very dangerous. You can see leading causes of death: heart attack and stroke, cancer, diabetes. All these things kill literally hundreds of thousands of people in our country today. They can all be linked back to the stress response. So what do we do about it? Number one, we can reduce our stress using very specific, smart techniques. And number two is we can initiate what's called the parasympathetic activity. We talked about it a little bit in our heart disease video. Parasympathetic activity is what shuts this off. So in the next video, we'll talk about the sympathetic, parasympathetic activity, how to reduce one and increase the other.